Hello to my online learners and welcome to the to-do list for Chapter 4. Chapter 4 has a lot of terminology that sounds quite tricky because you have not seen these cell parts, organelles, since probably Science 10. So they sound complicated, but when you break down the word parts, they're not quite as complicated. So when we look at Chapter 4, a lot to look at. First thing, start by downloading the reading guide. So again, first thing to do is to download the reading guide. The reading guide will tell you the learning outcomes because there will be more in the chapter than you need to know. Then there are 3 videos. They're short because my hard drive was full. They're short videos that I go and describe the chapter with you. And I do have some PowerPoints posted that I used in the videos, but they're in the PowerPoint link, which I talked about already. Then there is active and passive transport. This is important. So I've got a video and I also have a very quick little assessment for active and passive transport. Then to help you understand the terms hypotonic and hypertonic, there was a lab done online and the results are posted in the learning activity. Actually, it's an assessment. I want you to go through and describe for me your results and your analysis. And there'll be another video beside the activity to help you, give you more detail on that. Then there's a video on mitosis, which is normal cell division, and a video on pathogens, which are disease-causing organisms. Also, please take time to look at the Chapter 4 questions in your textbook to help you think in question form. Okay, let's look at this again. Chapter 4 is cells. So when we look at the learning objectives or learning outcomes, we're mainly focusing on the cell and their function. Briefly understand what's going on in cellular mitosis, but do not get hooked up on the stages and the terminology. Basically, what do you start with? Generally, what happens? What do you end up with? Passive and active transport, I want you to pay a lot of attention to in terms of what's going on there. And then briefly be able to compare, which is what are the same, and contrast the difference between bacteria, viruses, fungi, and protozoan. And then that will help you understand a little bit now, but when we get into disease, why things like antibiotics can kill bacteria but are no good at killing viruses. Okay, a lot of different things. This is a word tense chapter, so don't rush it. Take time to go through it and focus on the reading guides. So here's that to-do list again to help remind you what I want done. And what I want to look at is the assessment. So let's just go through it. First off, here are your lecture videos where I lecture with the PowerPoints. Then parts of the cell. Realize the term cell part is called organelle. L means little, so it's the little organs inside the cell. And here it helps break you down. And here's a little bit more on, this one's a little confusing, but it helps you. It can be a little long and a little more detailed, but it's good to hear the repetitiveness, especially to help you get to know the word terms. Okay, with the passive and active transport, that video's not working. I'll have to upload the link, reconnect the link. I want you to pay attention when you look at active and passive transport. I want you to pay attention to the direction of movement in terms of concentration gradient. Are you going up? Are you going down? Are you taking in energy or giving off energy or using energy? And also, what are examples of passive and active transport? Quick little activity. And then mitosis. With mitosis, again, I want you to pay attention to the overall result without getting hung up with all the phases and all the stages. Basically, what's happening? And then we're going to talk about pathogens and what are they and what do they spread. And these are a little longer, but it'll give you an idea. So pay attention to the videos, but also pay attention to the level I want at the reading guide. Some of this goes into more detail that we will build on in INTP next term. Okay, so that's chapter 4. Enjoy.